jealousy, too.
So, I am 100% positive every person with their butt in a seat in the crowd in front of me has experienced envy in one way or another. Now, what I'll be talking about for 10 minutes or so isn't exactly the issue of jealousy, and a lot of people get confused. What's the difference between jealousy and envy? Jealousy usually involves a third party seen as a rival for affection. So this could mean anything from a romantic relationship between a couple and someone else, or it could mean a sibling relationship where they're competing for parental attention. Jealousy, defined by Google, is a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's qualities, possessions, or luck. A lot of people experience envy in ways with like grades or when they see someone else is really good at something that they want to be good at. And I never really felt that kind of envy in my life or any kind of envy in my life until about a month or two ago. So before basketball wasn't enjoyable for me, I just recently made the varsity basketball team, and it was really hard for me to integrate myself into a group of girls that had played together so many times before and were already really familiar with each other. To top it off, my attitude approaching practice was always really self-destructive. I would walk through the doors of the gym and immediately expect myself to do badly and to fail because I continued to compare myself to people that were taller than me and who had played for longer than I had. I would compare my missed shots to their swishes, and I would compare my poor ball handling skills to their between the leg stuff, and it was hard for me to incorporate myself into this team. Eventually, the envy got worse. It persisted, and it was hard for me not to constantly compare myself to everyone. This poison kind of spread to off the court as well, where I wasn't saying hi to people in the halls and avoiding eye contact with my teammates. And on the court, I wouldn't high-five them and I wouldn't give them a congratulations for making a good shot or for making a good play. And it's not that they had done anything wrong to me because they hadn't. My envy had given me this illusion that this entire situation that I was in, it was one big race. Everyone was pulling ahead of me and I was in last place. And it was just, not good. The first step to conquering envy is just to know that it's happening. Don't disguise your envy with self-pity. Self-pity incites laziness and acceptance of your less than ideal situation. It gives you cause to just complain about how bad your situation is instead of giving you a motivation to do better. Another really important thing to keep in mind, do not let other people set your standards for you. Keep your standards specific to yourself. Keep your goals specific to yourself without allowing the people around you to influence them. I realized that what I had done was I had allowed people that were taller than me and who had played basketball for longer than I had set my standards for me. And I would always ask myself, why can't I be as good as they are? Why aren't I ever good enough? And the answer was simple. It was merely just because that the goals and the standards that I had set for myself were unrealistic. It was unrealistic, impossible, for me to grow 3 inches overnight or to play an extra 2 years worth of basketball over a good night's sleep. So once I realized this, I discarded my previous set of standards and I made one that was specific to myself. One that I knew that I was capable of attaining and goals and standards that I knew that I was capable of. Once I was able to control the envy that I was feeling, I found it to be a driving force, almost, for me to better my basketball skills. And I had changed my opponent. It was no longer a race between myself and my teammates, but more a race between myself and myself. Each day, I was always trying to do better than the day I had before. But it's not to say that my teammates weren't there, because now they were on the sidelines and they were cheering me on. They never failed to give me answers to my questions, and they're always trying to help me and give me tips on how to do better. These days, basketball is something I really enjoy. I really like being on the team, and I really look forward to going to practice and seeing all my teammates. And from being someone who had originally isolated herself and set herself so apart from all my teammates, I have to say I really appreciate having them be on my side now. Now, a lot of people might feel envy with things like social life or good grades, and that's okay. It's okay to want the things that other people have. In fact, envy is normal. It's a part of human nature. It drives people to achieve more and to do better. But when that envy starts to become toxic and it starts to ruin and hinder your path to your ambitions rather than facilitate it and make it better, that's when you know there's something up and you need to kind of change something. So, I have Karen, and we're good. Okay. And then, so I have these 3 cups. The water in that hydro flask, it's the same water from the same sink, and there are 3 cups. So, as we can see, hydro flask, thank you. And then we have a Dave & Buster's mug and this foam cup. So, a little bit of backstory on each of the cups in front of me. I got this Dave & Buster's mug from Dave & Buster's, and it was 500 tickets, I think. It's like, I don't know, this is my favorite mug. I like the Dave & Buster's. It reminds me that it's from Dave & Buster's. And then this foam cup I got from my dad, like yesterday. He brought it to me from work. It's like one of those cups that you take from the water jug, fill it up, drink it, and then just throw away. And then this is a hydro flask, and it's a vacuum insulated stainless steel water bottle. And it costs like $30 to $35 for a water bottle. Okay, so before this talk, I filled each of these, or actually Karen did it for me. She filled each of these with the same water, and it's the water from it's the same sink, it's all the same water. It doesn't vary as it changes from the cups. So to get into it, it's going to be kind of weird, but it's a metaphor. So imagine that the water in these cups is your quality of life. And then imagine that the cups that holds that water is your life situation. And when I say life situation, I mean the things that you have, possibly the things that you don't have, your social status, Instagram followers, that kind of thing. And looking at the 3 of these, I'd say that the foam cup looks like the least desirable life situation, and the hydro flask looks like probably the ideal. So to a lot of people, a hydro flask life situation would entail good grades, an attractive personality, lots of friends, high social status in school. But just to reiterate, just to make sure, the water in these is the same. There's no difference. So just as the water in these cups doesn't change as to fill the different cups, your quality of life doesn't change as you acquire more of the things that you value or more of the qualities that you admire. Now, all of us live our own lives. All of our cups are so vastly different. We couldn't ever think and shouldn't ever think to compare them. I used to see myself as this foam cup, and like, you could just drink me and then throw me away. But then I saw all these girls around me, and they were like these brightly colored hydro flasks and these cool mugs from arcades. And what I failed to realize was that we were all viable to the same happiness. Now, unfortunately, we've all begun to think, if I have that hydro flask, the taste of the water will be different. It'll taste better. If I have the things that that person has, my life will be better, and I'll be happier for it. But that's not the case. So, focus on your successes. Focus on succeeding. Focus on putting less emphasis on other people and more emphasis on yourself. If you guys haven't noticed, envy is not a good time. So don't waste your time on it. Your foam cup water is just as good as their hydro flask water. You might not have their Instagram likes, and you might not have their amount of friends or their Instagram followers, but or their talents. But you still are viable to the same quality of life and to the same happiness. So, to close off my TED Talk, I have a few inspirational quotes. So, envy is a mental cancer. B.C. Forbes. The envious are troublesome to others and a torment to themselves. William Penn. To finish off, believe that you can do it, because you can do it. Bob Ross. You can conquer envy. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. To close